told you that one day there will no longer be a transplant list? Or even better, there will no longer be deaths from the rejection of transplanted organs. Medical 3D printing is the start of a new era of medicine. This new advancement makes way for a different side of medicine that no one thought was possible. In a 2015 article by Peter Melgard, a writer for The World, reported that this new form of medical technology will soon make it possible to actually recreate human tissue in a lab and then put this in a patient and watch it grow with the body. This could completely change the world as we know it. I've been interested in medical 3D printing and its progression for a long time. I've always just been intrigued with this topic, and I've done research to make it as credible as possible. In order to better understand medical 3D printing, it is important to explore what it is, what it's currently used for, and the potential medical possibilities of this tool. First, I'll start with what 3D printing is. According to the article Print Thyself by Jerome Groopman, a writer for The New Yorker, the printer works by printing in layers instead of just on a flat substance. The first printer was developed in the 1980s by Charles Hall. He used acrylic liquid that turned solid once he shined an ultraviolet light on it, which was typically in the form of a laser. The cool thing about these printers now is that they're easily accessible at many of your local supply stores, such as Office Max. Many of these printers, however, are used to make small plastic toys such as action figures. You're probably thinking, how is this plastic relevant to the human body? Well, according to Lee Ventola in her article, Medical Applications for 3D Printing, Current and Projected Uses for the U.S. National Library of Medicine states that medical 3D printing has currently been used to create different dental implants and prosthetics for patients since the early 2000s. Only recently has 3D printing started to incorporate the printing of tissues and organs. Many of the current uses are for things such as hearing aids. How many of you know someone with a hearing aid? Dentures? Okay. Those are 3D printed. One of the latest advancements includes printing of tissues. This is especially cool for patients who have suffered from different issues such as burns and degenerations of organs. Many people have already been helped by these different advances. The potential advances in the works for the medical 3D printing are pretty cool too. Stephen Lockhart, a writer for the Popular Science, in his article, How 3D Printing Body Parts Will Revolutionize Medicine, says investments in this field have already taken off. Organs are generally complex. The heart, for example, there are many different types of cells and processes that go on. So how could someone recreate these cells? Before medical 3D printing was the only way to fix an organ defects and failures was by transplanting them from one person to another. Many people would have waited way too long for this, and they wouldn't get the organs needed. Some people also died waiting for the organs that they needed. There are now studies that show that it will soon be possible to completely regenerate the human organ by removing tissues from the patient and 3D printing them into the desired organ. These studies have already started by completely printing every single part of the mouse heart, implanting this heart into the mouse, and it was a success. Another study showed scientists have completely printed human legs, attached them to a ventilator to help them breathe, and efficiently inhaled and exhaled. So, as you've heard, these medical advances are pretty spectacular, and they're only getting better from here. So, in conclusion, I've explored in medical 3D printing what it is, what it's currently used for, and what it could potentially be used for. Thank you.